Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. I have found one of the most amazing, talented actresses in the vertical drama universe to talk to, which is the amazing Skyla Lynne, who has caused chaos on your phone
Yes.
more than once.
Yeah.
Skyla, how do you introduce yourself when you kind of meet people at a party? What's your kind of little spiel
You
that you tell
know,
people?
it's the basis. I never say something similar. It's always just, hey, and then I'm going into a conversation. I'm always talking over myself. But I guess if you don't know me, I am an actress. I work in verticals. I'm sure whoever watching this is a fan. I play the mean girl every time. And yeah, I don't know, just ask away.
The awesome thing is, obviously, you've been acting since you were really young, because if you go on
Yes.
to your IMDb, which obviously I am a good researcher, so I do that, and it's fantastic because obviously you can put a show reel, can't you, in IMDb,
Yeah,
and the one
yeah.
that comes up, you're like, it's baby
Oh
Skylar,
my gosh.
it's
Oh
baby
my gosh,
Skylar,
yes. Oh my
it's so
gosh,
cute.
yes. That was like the first like film I did in a short film. I was playing like a younger character. I actually started acting when I was 4. This is a funny story. I like to say, like people are like, how'd you get into it? This is what I was told. Again, I was like 4. I might have been even 3 before it started. My mom said that I would point at the TV and I'd say, I want to be in the commercial. I want to be in that commercial. Like, because I didn't know how to say commercial. And so they put me in theater and I was like, no, like I want to be on TV. So then I started going to Catherine Sullivan's Acting for Film, which shout out to Kathy. She has worked with Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato. Her son was Jake on Hannah Montana. Like she was a big Disney coach. So she taught me everything I knew up until I went to college for a BFA acting major. But then I kind of took a little break when I was out in LA. I was, influencing or whatever. And then I started doing these verticals. And yeah, I've been doing that for a year now and I've never been happier. So I'm really happy that they're like a thing.
So I think that's really interesting. Obviously, that you built up. Obviously, you've got a big Instagram following, but obviously on
Yeah.
TikTok, you're well over 1 million
Yeah.
on TikTok. Does that help getting cast?
I believe so. I believe so. But sometimes, I mean, I have it on my profiles and everything. It can help when trying to get paid more, I think. But talent wise, I mean, it's up to people. I know that social media is a big deal now. Like, if you do want to do anything, if you like involving, the arts, social media is definitely a good place to start. I mean, I wouldn't be out here if it wasn't for social media because that's where I got my money. I was in college and I was like, you know what? The COVID happened. And I just was like, I'm going to move out. And so I dropped out and moved across country at 19 with the influencing money. So then I influenced and then there was a year I was like, I'm going to be a singer. I have like so many demos and my songs are great. It's just such a hard process and musicians are really depressed. So it was really like not very healthy for me personally. And then I started doing the acting last year. I started auditioning. I actually didn't even know what a vertical was. I showed up on set, actually over prepared, if anything. But yeah, it's my passion, and I'm glad that I had the 3 years to be an adult and everything. But then I realized, like the second I started doing this, I was like, this is it, because I struggle with a lot of mental health, and I think getting back into acting has completely changed my life, like genuinely. So yeah,
Okay, so what is it then? Because this is interesting. Because obviously, if people know a bit about verticals, that is an intense job. Because you're
yes.
on set full on, aren't you? So what, 7 to 10 days?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot, 10 days. They're kind of shortening it now, which is even crazier because they're putting more in a day than they should be. But yeah, I mean, people like to say 12-hour days, but that's not really it's more than that because you're starting at the 12-hour mark, but you still have to wake up and get ready, and then you get back home and you have to memorize and prepare. So you're basically working at least 15. And then, people who go to China are working 14 hours. So it's definitely not easy. You have to love it. You really have to love it, because if you don't love acting, it's not going to be fun. It's not.
So yes, I think I kind of wanted to establish. Obviously, this isn't. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to hang around on set. Like, this is full on work. So what is
No,
it
yeah.
about it that you love, that you were like? this is my
Well,
pattern. This is
yeah,
lighting me
well,
up.
yeah. Well, of course, like, it's always been in my head, like, I don't have a memory where I didn't wanna be an actress,
Right.
but I love so many different things, I was in orchestra, I was in choir, I love musical theater, I love basketball, I volleyball, beach volleyball, track, like, I did so much growing up, and I'm so grateful for that because I was an only child, so
Mm.
my parents could get me to do that, um, but I think what it is for me is I like to explain it like this. So the waitress job that I had for like a few months, you'd be working like 5 hours, right? And those 5 hours feel so long, but 12 hours on set, nothing. I would be like waitressing. I'd be doing the roll ups, which is like, rolling up like the fork and the knife. And I'd be sitting there and be like, what am I like contemplating my life? Like, what am I doing
Mm.
here? How did it, but like when I'm on set, I'm just having fun. Like like you really like if you want to know what your passion is, what can you do for 12 hours a day and still want to come back tomorrow?
Oh,
That's what passion is.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. So your first vertical role, what
Oh
were your
gosh.
thoughts as you went on set of kind of like the cameras are different, the tone? What were you told? Were you given anything or were you just
Yeah,
thrown into
no,
it?
so I didn't know what a vertical was, and at the time, I don't think they weren't marketing it as, like, vertical on, like, Actors Access. If anything, it said web series. So as a professionally like, if you know the difference between theater and film, theater actually, like, it's a study, like, you're studying, you're reading books, like, obviously film does that too, but they go more into it, and so you go to, like, these objectives and, like, it's like homework, right? So when you get a script, like, I printed it out, I, like, went to Office Max, I annotated, I did all of my character work, and I show up, and the lead is like, "Oh, I didn't even read the script." Like, both of the leads, and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, like, no one really does what you like, you don't need to do that." Like, I was so prepared, and then obviously now it literally for me, like, because I did so back to back for so long, I, like, just downloaded on my phone the night before, memorize it, get to set, go. It's so different, so I think that's when I showed up there, I was, like, overly prepared.
I'd love to know as well, because it's always fascinating. What are your memorization techniques? What works for you? Have you like photographic memory or
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of have, like, a semi like, my dad has, like, an actual photographic memory, like, he can open a book, close it, and read it. I have, like, a semi one where I can kinda see it. I'm just really good at memorizing, especially since I've been doing it for so long, and especially because I do these verticals so much. I am faster than most people because of that photographic memory. I do this trick my trick when I memorize is, I read it first, and I highlight my lines, and I memorize so, like, for say, like, the first line, I will memorize it, I'll say it a few times, then I'll go to the second one, memorize it, say it a few times, and then I'll do the first and then the second. Then I'll go to the third, I'll memorize the third line, then I'll go back and do the first, the second, and the third, and then same with the fourth. If I mess up on one of those rounds, I have to start from the beginning. So say I did the first one correctly, the second one, I did the third, oh, I forgot the fourth, damn it. Look at the fourth, now start over. I did the first. Oh, I forgot the second. Okay, go back to the first. Like, that's my rotation, and I just keep doing it, and I mean, your tongue is a muscle. It's muscle memory. Seriously, like,
Mm.
all you have when you say something so much, your muscles get used to it. So anytime if I forget what's the next line in my head, um, I have to start from the beginning. So then I'm on repetitive, you know.
Yeah.
That's my way of memorizing. So
And then do you find that you can then just let it go quite quickly because you're then just moving on to the next day?
yeah, of course. That's why with these verticals, doing something like you do on a feature film where I memorized everything before I got there is not actually the best because we're moving so fast and you don't get more than one take. You only need to be really focusing on that day. So in my head, the next day it's out. Like, if you
Mm.
were to ask me a day, like, if I did the first day, the second day, and you asked me, "Do you still have it memorized the first day?" No. It is out of my head because I that's how my brain always has been, is I will need to know what I need to know for today, and then it needs to leave my brain. It needs to leave my brain to leave to leave some space for the new lines.
Oh, that is awesome. So, right, we have established you have played the mean girl, but
Yes.
you do the mean girl so well, like so
Thank
well.
you.
Right. If you haven't
Thank
watched Skyla, you need
you.
to go watch Skyla. So, what do you believe are the secrets to a compelling on-screen characters that you build? Kind of what do you
Like, in
reckon?
the in like
Adds a level.
general,
Adds a
or
level and makes them memorable. Yeah.
what
Just
makes any character memorable?
yeah, just kind of how you do it, basically. What's your
I
secret? Share with the internet.
Well, there's different secrets for different characters, of course, but if you want like an
Yeah.
overarching, like what would make what I think would make actors in
Uh,
general more memorable, is like you really have to bring yourself into the character. And I think that's a lot of things that's something that a lot of people don't do with acting, is that they think like this. They think, oh, I need to stand out. Yes, you need to stand out. But I had to learn, because I am someone, when I do an audition, I'm doing something that is opposite of what I assume everyone else is going to do, so I can
mm,
stand out. And I was so focused on that I didn't realize that what makes me stand out is me. And so I don't need to try so hard sometimes to stand out, because I already stand out as myself. And so bringing yourself into the character, little pieces of you, that's what makes it unique. It's because it's still you, and that's the whole thing of like, don't judge your character. I do some terrible things, but
mm,
when I'm doing them, I have a reason. Because if you
yeah.
judge your character, then that's, if you're
Yeah.
judging who you are, then you don't really understand why you're doing it, and then you completely miss the mark.
Mm,
Because we're doing it, everyone does something for a reason. Even if it is a
mm,
serial killer, they still
yeah.
have their reasons, or they wouldn't do it. And so
Yeah.
I think bringing yourself into the character, not judging the character, and really understanding where they're coming from at an emotional level, which is why I like playing the mean girl a lot better, because the leads are outwardly expressive. They
Mm,
express how they feel inside. My characters don't, so it makes it more fun for me. It's more complicated, because I'm not outwardly expressing how I feel. I'm
mm.
projecting what I feel inside. So it's actually most of the time
Oh,
opposite.
mm,
Yeah. So triggers for me as like a mean role, that's what you need to understand, your triggers. If you're
mm,
playing a role where you're masking, which most everyone masks daily life. So even the lead is going to mask her underlining cause for doing this or doing that. But when you're playing a mean character, an evil character, it's even like worse, because, you're doing something evil. And in order to, like, no one's born evil,
mm,
there's reasons why. And so you need to know your triggers. And so for my main characters, certain things certain characters say to me does not bother me. But if you hit a hard mark, that's when I'll be more evil. And you kind of like, you play with how much you show and how much you mask.
mm,
And I think that's something that I'm good at as the mean role, is I never want to play a flat bitch. I don't want to just be a bitch to be a bitch.
mm,
I actually, it sucks, because I had to start learning that I need to cry. If I want to cry in a scene, I have to cry on every coverage. Because if I don't, and I wait for my coverage, they will not put it in most of the time. They
okay.
will decide not to put in my crying scenes, and I get so disappointed when I go to watch it. I'm like, I understand that they don't want to see the bitch cry, but that's what makes it so real. And so that's where
Mm,
they miss the mark in editing. But I had to realize I have to just cry in every coverage, so they don't have the option. I even accidentally did it when they were doing a rehearsal, and they picked the rehearsal take over my actual emotional scene, because I don't play a psychopath. Like, there were a few that I'm like, I'm a psychopath, I'm not crying. I don't feel emotions. And most of them I don't play that way, because most of these
mm,
characters aren't psychos. They're traumatized, and they
yeah.
were raised a certain way. So I think, bringing in that, and also comedy. I love comedy. I try to put as much comedy I can, because we're saying such ridiculous things, and I'm like, this is so funny. I like
Mm.
to put comedy into my characters. Sometimes they don't choose to pick that take. That's fine. But yeah, that's how I kind of do my little roles for verticals.
Oh, honestly, that's like the best answer ever, because that's explained
Thanks.
so much to me about why your roles are so memorable. You've just totally
Oh,
explained why they
oh
work.
yeah, yeah. Thanks.
One of the things I want to ask you is, yeah, sometimes we're given quite clear reasons why someone's behaving like that. Sometimes it really is, there doesn't really seem to be a reason. They're just that way. So do you then try and always fill in?
You have to.
Mm,
You have to, because if you say you get a script and like it says, okay, I end up stabbing this person. People don't just stab people and not have a reason. Like, even sociopaths, which I'm very interested in, I actually study. Um, there's still a reason for that, because they
mm,
lack the empathy and the emotions, and the only emotions they do have is anger, envy, and stuff like that. They feel numb, so that's why they do that. Or does it come from not feeling loved? Did you used to be loved and then now it's love over ambition, and you had to learn, you have to like learn, you make that up. And that's the most fun part about it. But because I have played these characters so much, I already have like an underlining background for all of my characters unless told otherwise. Which is mostly just, I mean, my characters at the end of the day are after something with wealth, right? They want wealth for their family, for their name. So they associate abundance with being loved because they were never loved. Because most of these like the moms and dads that I have, it's either they're abusive or yeah, it's pretty much that. Or they're the ones who are teaching me. So either I got taught how to be this way, and this is how I have always known this is how I was taught, how I get successful. My mom did this, so I have to follow her. Or my dad beats me if I'm not going to marry this rich guy, and you have to do like there's always a motive, right? You have to have a motive, or it comes out flat. And that's when you see characters that are just like, oh my God, I'm such a bitch. And then it's so flat because there's no motivation. You have to be motivated every time you speak and every time you don't. So that's what I say.
I have to ask as well about, because sometimes I think actually the villainesses, that character can be given a hard thing, because there's often a lot of, they've been led to believe they will marry this guy.
Yeah.
Or they're actually with the guy.
That's the ones that I'm like, I know, that's where I'm like, I'm not the bitch. Okay, yes, I might have gone too far. Should I have kidnapped her and drugged him? Maybe not, but valid. Yeah. Valid. Like, I've done ones where I'm like, I'm literally engaged. Then this girl comes in who he used to date. And I mean, I'm just doing what I gotta do to get my man back, Like, those ones I'm like, am I the villain though? Am I the villain? He was cheating on me in Paris, like with this other girl, and I show up. Should I have kidnapped her? No, but I like to bring the drama, so...
But I do feel for those ones. I noticed them, and I'm like, yeah, this is a little harsh. Yes,
I like those ones, though.
Far, but, you tried, and no one's listening.
I like those. Those are my favorite because they actually have depth shown. Because I can be more vulnerable instead of just coming out like I'm the one pretending to be someone and just bullying this person and whatever. Like, I like those ones where I'm like, am I really like the bitch? Or like the lead's kind of being a bitch to me, Like, she's taking something from me. But the sister ones are like, yeah. I like them. But.
I like them. So I have to ask, obviously, once you're playing that sort of role, there's often quite a lot of physicality involved.
I love it.
Of shoving and pushing and hitting and various things. How do you manage stunts? Kind of.
I love stunts. I'm amazing.
Tell me more about stunts. Tell me your favorite.
I'm amazing at stunts.
Favorite stunts you've done.
Oh, I liked when I got shot in the head. That was fun because it was like a knockout. My favorite stunt I actually coordinated. There was no stunt. The original script said I get slapped to the ground, and I was at this point so over slaps, and I was like, that doesn't even make sense. No one would slap me to the ground. I go, I want to be punched. And I don't think I haven't personally seen another woman punch another woman in a vertical.
Personally, coming in now, but it's very rare.
I did this last year. So I might have been the first of the first. I coordinated it. And yeah, so I got punched to the ground. I recently just started falling downstairs. I had bruises all over, but the falling downstairs, it's not as bad as it seems, but I like getting stabbed and down the stairs. The hair pulling I haven't done in a while, like yanking and pulling, and that's always fun. Like the no, I shot a guy. I actually killed someone. I've never done that. I actually killed someone in a vertical. So like they came up and I decided I want to take it from the jacket, and yeah, so that was super fun. Other than that, nothing terribly, terribly crazy. I mean, that is kind of crazy, but yeah, no, I love stunts. They're so fun. Like I want to do all of my stunts. Always.
Swimming pools?
Huh?
You done the swimming pool?
I have not done a swimming pool, and honestly, hopefully not soon, because when they do swimming pools in winter, that's not fun. Well, I've never done swimming pools because it's always like the lead is in the swimming pool getting saved. Like the bitch is never in a swimming pool.
Sometimes she goes in, sometimes you've just managed to push. So
yeah. I was in a bathtub once. That was it. But, like, that was, like, I pretended I was gonna kill myself, and I, like, slit it was so bad. I, like, slit my wrist. I was like, "I'm gonna kill myself." But I was, like, lying. Like, that was the only time I had to deal with water, that like that. I actually had to fully submerge myself into a bathtub. Um, I wouldn't love a swimming pool one, honestly. Oh, it would be fun if it was, like, the last scene of the day, maybe, but not during winter. I'm actually really scared for winter. It sucks on verticals during the winter because the days are not that long, and so
Mm,
during the winter, it really gets depressing because it's like you wake up when it's dark, you go home when it's dark,
mm,
and it's freezing, and so what I like to say is, like, the guys, are always dressed like it's winter, and the women are always dressed like it's spring or
mm.
summer. So during the summer, the guys are miserable, and during the winter, the women are miserable
Because you
because
don't
they
have nice
never
big snuggly coats, do you? You know,
well, we do, but in between takes. They're putting
but for
us
the
yeah, they're
takes,
always
you
putting
know,
us in
there's a lot of
dresses.
silk dresses and
We'll
a lot of
actually
exposed skin. Yeah.
We'll actually put, like, hand warmers in my soles of my feet of my shoes. We'll have someone on set who, like, is holding my I bring a blanket, like, I have a whole acting bag, I have all my essentials. And during the winter, having a blanket, essential. During the summer, fan, essential. And so in between takes, you're just drinking tea, having the hand it is like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready because they never give you, like, an actual good coat. They'll try, but most of the times the client wants, like, noodle strap, spring dress, which is like, why are the men dressed like it's winter? I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me because in the summer, and no matter what vertical you're watching, the men are in, like, trench coats and suits and jackets, and we're just in, like, tiny little dresses. And I'm like, "What season is it?" Um,
Are there certain colours that you find, just while we stay on costumes, that you love that you get put in, and are there certain ones that you wish
yes.
you could drop?
Yes. I actually the last 2 I was in, my character always wore pink, so that's gonna be interesting. Every single thing I wore was pink, but I like when they put me in, like, red, navy blue, black. I was put in, a like a burnt orange and, like, a yellow. Not a fan. People liked it, I think. It's not more about the colors they put me in, but, like, the clothing they put me
Mm,
in. I try to avoid strapless. I hate strapless, even in my day-to-day. I
mm,
hate strapless. My ADHD also comes with a lot of, like, sensory, like, issues, so when they put me in certain, like, sequence dresses, I don't I can't do, like, taping.
mm,
They like to tape a lot of these, like, sheen dresses, and I'm like, "No, you don't tape my skin. It's not comfortable, and it leaves a
mm.
rash." Um, I prefer things that are, tight fitted, not too baggy, and, whatever.
Mm.
I can't say specifically, like, I could say, like, "Hey, this outfit, not a fan." But color-wise, I don't mind as long as the outfit itself is good. I like that for sure. Mhm.
I have to ask about the jewellery as well, because the jewellery
Mhm.
can be full on. Um,
Yeah.
you must have had a few nice necklaces you've managed to get at auctions as a villain.
Actually, I was on this one and I was wearing this necklace and it completely gave me a rash. And I kept wearing it. I kept telling them, like, but it was a huge ballroom scene. And I still wore it, but I was just like, hey, can we note that I'm getting a rash? It was like massive. It's like, hey, guys, I'm getting a rash. I can finish the day, just I'm gonna hold it when I can't. Like, I was doing everything I could, and then she even, like, ended up, like, putting, like, glue behind it and, like, taping it, right? And then the next day, she was like, "How was it?" I was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. This works." End up getting an email along with a lot of other things, lying to my agent. A part of that was that I was not cooperative with the jewelry. And I was like I go up to the costume person, it's like, "What do you what is this about? Like, I'm sorry, did I do something?" She was like, "Well, you got a rash from that first one, so I just didn't put you in other things." I was like, "Okay, how is that me not being cooperative? You didn't ask me." She was like, "The client got mad because I couldn't put you in big stuff." I was like, "But you never tried to give me you just gave me my jewelry. That's what you do. You gave me my jewelry, I put it
Yeah.
on. You never gave me something and I said, I'm not doing that. I actually said, I'll keep wearing this." And then the thing worked, so that was a little crazy. I won't be working with those people again. But no, I actually love the jewelry. I love when I get to wear because I don't do that in my day-to-day life. I actually just bought like jewelry for the first time. I was like, I got like a whole pack on Amazon because I was like, I need to wear my jewelry. I only wear my rings. I hate when they make me take my rings off because these are like my safety net. I wear these every day, all day. But most of the times they'll let me keep at least some of them. I think it's funny. You'll actually find that the people who don't let me take my rings off, this right here is a sloth. So there's inserts.
Goodness.
You'll see,
Oh, I
and
love
I'm
it
like the
so
client.
much.
I hope the client doesn't see because there's no way that they would want a sloth. And you'll see me like you'll see inserts of the sloth, and so I like having it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I have no issues with the jewelry. That other than that one time, and I was like, oh, whatever, okay, I didn't, whatever. You kind of just have to brush it off.
Um, Next thing I wanted to ask you about is improv.
I
Because
love
I've been
improv.
told that some of the things that you've done that I love. So there's particularly one where one of your characters gets carried out of the room in disgrace.
Yeah,
And you were
that
like
was me.
kicking. And it's just
Yeah,
this fantastic running kick that you do. And I think it was
yeah.
Aaron Feder who told me that you improvised that.
It was. What happened was I have never seen such massive security guards in my life. These two were like 6'2" above, big build. And so during rehearsal, they're just supposed to like drag me out. And I'm just so like tiny compared to them that while we were rehearsing, the first time they picked me up on accident and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, no. Because mind you, at this time, this director, her biggest no, she wanted me to act like a toddler. It was the big, she wanted me to throw temper tantrums. So I was like, pick me up, do it. I'm going to start kicking and screaming because she kept telling me like I'd do something and she'd be like, more, I want you to act like you're two. And I'd be like, okay, fine. Right. So she picked me up. I was like, you want a toddler? I'll give you a toddler. So they picked me up and we stunted it. And yeah, a lot of the things you'll see I do is improv, a lot of the comedy. So if you hear like they don't ever write in comedy. So if you see that I say something and then I add a little ad lib of something and it's funny, most likely I wrote that. I wrote that in. Or put a connotation in. But yeah, so I love improving. I love when a director gives us the creative ability because sometimes you work with people and they're so focused on the words that then all the actors are just like not focused on the character.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay. So for you, for someone who's done, obviously, I think it's at least 30, isn't it?
Something more
What,
than now.
what makes
Yeah.
the project stand out for you? Kind of,
Uh,
and what makes a project good as well? Like, what do you see as your measure of the success of a project of like, that one was great and I really loved that?
I would say when it's not the same story. And that sounds so ridiculous, but there's only been a handful. I did one that had no love interest. It was literally it was like In Sister's Time for Payback. They always changed the title. But it was just like me and like two like posse bitch girls, and we like torture this girl, like almost we think we kill her, put her in a bike. Like there was no male lead, there was no romance at all. So that was nice. I haven't been able to do all the really cool ones that are now coming out. I'm now seeing people doing like westerns, and I almost did this jungle one, but it was like 2 hours away. So the fun ones for me are I love stunts and I like ones that have multiple scenes. I don't like long ballroom scenes all the time.
Mm.
Good people. I mean, it's always good people you're working with. In the sense of like what makes something good, the people on it who bring in the fan base or the app. Honestly, that's pretty
Yeah.
much all that can do for there. It's basically like who they cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the ones that are just I like where I can have vulnerability. I like a scene. I like at least having one scene where you get to see me vulnerable because it's exhausting being a bitch a lot to a point. But yeah, I would say that.
Is it true? Because I've heard other people talk about this when talking about the amount of energy you have to bring as a baddie because you were constantly on the top and going for it in every scene, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, but for me, it's like that I am like that in person. I actually have to calm down for my bitch roles. Like when
Mm.
they kick, like when they do cut, I am an energy ball. I never stop moving. So I really don't have to bring a lot. It's
Mm.
just me. I actually have to tone down more so I'm not, talking too fast because I talk really fast. So my bitch roles, like I don't sound like how I do like in there. Like it's like a flip. Like people like to say, Skyla, when it's action, it's like you completely change into this like other person. It's like, yeah, it's acting. But
That's the
my
job.
my characters, yeah, that's what I get paid to do. But I actually talk slower, which is nice. I actually slow down because I talk like this all the time and oh my gosh. But when I'm a bitch, are you Serious? Like, you're calming down. So I actually have to bring less energy.
That
Not
is
most
such
people, though.
a good answer. I love that. I want to bring in, does AD, I think ADHD is your superpower here.
Oh, 100%. It is a it is a superpower, but everything has an equal and opposite reaction, of course. Um, I would, as much as my ADHD affects so much that I think it would be nice if people were more aware of what ADHD was, because it is on the spectrum. It's
Huh.
reaching the spectrum, and I don't think people understand that we do have a lot of similarities with autism.
Huh.
Uh, so people like to just say, like, generically, like, ADHD is, you're fast and you lose things. I'm like, if ever I like to say this, if everything that normal people think ADHD was, if I just had those, oh my God, I would be living so great. The things that people think is ADHD are all
Huh.
the things I'm like, those are like nothing. It's so
Huh.
much deeper than than people know. Um, I do like to let everyone know when I do go on a set that I do have ADHD. A lot of people don't understand that how it can conflict with attention and working and mental health and stuff on set
Huh.
can get overwhelming if people are crowded too much around. For me
Yeah.
personally, I have to work on my social skills, social cues. I've been doing it since I got diagnosed late in life. There's so many things that I didn't realize were not normal. Like, I didn't realize that, like, you can do this, or that's not, or this can be taken this way. Like, I wasn't aware of those things,
Yeah.
and I'm more of an aware ADHD
Huh.
person. But it is like, I would not wish it upon anyone, but
Huh.
it also comes with such great ability to be creative. Like, most
Huh.
ADHD people are creatives. Most, they actors that I work with a lot. That's why I get along, and I think that's what made my mental health so much better when I was surrounding myself with people who are similar like me. Um, because it was around a crowd of people who also like to talk fast and interrupt and do this and do that. So it's nice to be around people who understand. But I think there needs to be more ADHD awareness out there, because I don't think people understand, like, how, like, it debilitating it really truly is.
Huh.
Day to day, it's not like a fun ha ha he he we talk too much. Like, it is a
Huh.
mental neurological nervous system disorder that affects
Yeah.
your somatic body. It affects your mind. It affects how you process things, how you
Huh.
communicate. And I just wish that there was more awareness, and that's something that I want to do when I get more visibility. Is I want to make people aware of other people's minds.
Yeah.
And being different is great,
Mm.
but it has its faults as well.
It was fascinating you talk about that, because I found out late in life that I have ADHD, and I found out
Mm,
by quite a lot of people my age do if you're looking into it for your child.
yeah.
And then you start going, hang on. And then you start
Yeah.
going,
You
that
start
makes
remembering. I was like, "Mom, how did you not know?" She's like,
yeah,
"I don't know, you're just fun."
yeah.
It's sad because with women, they get diagnosed normally late 20s, early 30s, um, which sucks. Most boys they show ADHD differently, which is weird for me because I actually have more hyper. I have a combination of a hyper and inattentive, so which sucks because having both is like it's like having hot and cold soup and then mixing it and then trying to make it not warm, but it's like it's the worst having both. But most boys have hyper, so they
Mm,
can get diagnosed sooner. Most women are
mm,
inattentive. So I was both inattentive and hyper, so I could make friends. Because
uh,
with inattentive, you diagnose like, oh, like bad at social cues and they can't make friends, but
mm,
uh, they can listen and they can do their work.
uh,
Hyper is like, oh, I can't focus. I'm running around. See, I would get in trouble for talking
mm,
too much. Da, da, da. So because I had both, it was really hard to diagnose for me because she has friends. She does good in school. She's just
uh,
energetic. So people couldn't see it. So I was misdiagnosed with a lot of things that actually came from ADHD. So, like, I was diagnosed with, everything, like that depression, anxiety, and pain.
mm,
Like, all these things. I was taking antidepressants. Nothing fixed it until I was finally 17, and I only did it because I was like, "You know what? I interrupt people like crazy." I was like, "Do I have ADHD? I need to see." And so she tested, she's like, You mark off everything." And then I started researching and learned things that I had no idea were because of
um,
ADHD. I was like, "Oh my God, that's why I do that," or "That's why I feel this way," or "That's why I react this way," because there's so much you don't know. about it
Mm.
is a nervous system. Like, I have to tell people, when I tell people, like, yeah, it's pretty much it's edging the spectrum. People don't, they like laugh. I'm like, I'm not, like, look it up. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it is edging onto the spectrum. So we have those, and I don't think people realize that those symptoms of ADHD are not shown.
Mm.
You know, because overthinking, yes, but like, you know, emotional regulation, I didn't know that that was a thing.
Mm.
Like, sensitivity rejection, did not know that was a thing. Like,
Oh,
these are, you know,
oh,
like, people don't know
rejection,
this.
sensitivity to small fear. Oh my,
Rejection sensitivity. Yeah, black and white
that's a joy.
thinking. Yeah, that is super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, but without the ADHD mind, like, we have such a superpower. We really do. Um, but I think growing up not knowing, and still today, like, you really have to, like, mask, which sucks,
Mm.
especially in a workplace. You have to really tell yourself to shut up, and, like, you really have to, like, make sure that you have to really work on your nervous system, your somatic, your body,
Yeah.
your mind every day, and it's still hard, you know,
Mm.
but you know.
Well, I
You
just,
know.
because that was my understanding when I started reading into it, that yeah, the girls generally mask more, again, because it doesn't come out
Mhm.
necessarily as hyper, and they're just more, we're just, this is the
Yeah.
world, we're more naturally conditioned to mask and fit into what society wants us to be, and just
Yeah.
be the good girl.
Yeah.
um but I just remember the relief, because it was like, oh, it's not just that I'm useless. That was my
Oh,
inner
the
critic.
lazy, you're
Why
lazy,
can
you
everyone else
can't.
do this and I can't?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice when you finally can name something. That's what humans do. We name a
Mm.
lot of things. We don't really know what anything really is. We can only tell you what we can tell you from results and name. We
Mm.
don't know. At the end of the day, no one really knows anything about anything, if we're being
Mm.
honest. Um, but there's like a comfort
Mm.
and in knowing why you might act a certain way or why you might not fit in, or,
Yeah.
you know, I'm very self-aware. Um, it takes a lot, someone, because there's people who aren't self-aware with ADHD and still struggle with it, and I still am self-aware and still struggle with it, but I can be so aware of, like, the things I'm doing that aren't normal, or the way I interact. But with actors, though, I find it doesn't happen as often. When I am on set and like, these people, like, they just get me. Either they
Mm.
have ADHD or they're actors. They like to be big and dramatic. I know I can be very overwhelming. I'm a very overwhelming person, because I am so hyper and active and talk a lot and interrupt and da-da. So I do try to listen more. Um, that's something I work on every day. I try to listen more and slow down and meditate, and yeah,
Mm.
I think, I don't know. I wouldn't give it up though at this point.
But I was guessing, in a way, does that partly why verticals really suit? Because I was thinking, from from what I talked about, people, if you're doing more traditional TV, there's a lot of waiting around and standing around and
Mhm.
sitting and time, whereas
Yeah.
verticals, almost, you have to have that
Yeah.
ability to just, do the ADHD of getting the flow and just go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go. I was like, almost, does it kind of suit that almost in a way?
Yeah. Well, what I find with my ADHD is I think what is so great about acting is that when I am playing a character, I know what I have to say.
Mm.
I know what I have to say. I know what I'm thinking. I know what I have to do and what I have to go. I have to go here and then I
Mm.
say this. It's so calming for me because in my
Mm.
day-to-day life, I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do and I'm bouncing here and I'm going here, but when you're on set, it's like action, I know exactly what to say. I know exactly what to do. But when I'm not a character, my mind's going like 1,000 miles per hour, right? So it actually it's acting calms me,
Yeah.
you know? Being a character calms me because I don't have to think. All I have to focus on is what I have to say and what I have to do.
So
And
do
I
you
don't have to think about myself.
you're always
Right.
looking for an instruction manual?
Yeah.
Because I find that in life,
Yeah.
I'm always looking for an instruction manual of what should I do? How
Yeah.
should I be? And I get that
Yeah.
exactly what you said. I was like, oh my goodness, I can see the magic of that. If you don't need to do that, because as you said, you've
Yeah.
got the slight instruction manual of
Mhm.
this is what I'm doing in the role.
And your mind can, like, kind of shut off because all I know is I have to do this. I have to say these lines. I have to be this character. So I can, like, relax. It's relaxing because I just I don't have to think about anything but this moment. And I don't ever do that often unless I'm meditating. And even then it's hard. You're
Okay.
constantly thinking.
Can I just say acting has never appealed to me until I've spoken to you, because I can see the appeal of that.
Really? Yeah.
The first
You should
time ever.
try it.
I can see it. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, I can't thank you enough
Yeah.
for sharing that, because,
Of
oh, yeah,
course.
you can probably see my brain going, wow, makes so
It's
much
nice.
sense.
It's relaxing.
Um, in a kind of screeching subject change, am I right in thinking you're based in LA?
I am.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you done any of the travel with verticals? Because obviously that's an opportunity that sort of is an unexpected
Yeah.
part of verticals. Is it something you'd want to do
Yes.
more of?
Um, I was gonna go to Australia for the first time, but I actually was gonna film a feature in Ohio at the time. So hopefully that will come back. I went to New York for the first time in my entire life. I went to New York. That was the only travel I did. So I would like to travel to like Canada. I heard they do some in Mexico. That would be fun. I do want to travel more with these because you can't really travel at all as an actor unless you're doing it for acting, because then you have to take off. And then what if you get an audition? So New York was really fun. Because I've never been and I want to travel more for sure.
And my next question is, as someone who already had a big social media presence, kind of has that your existing audience kind of follow you onto verticals? Have
A little bit. I
Mhm.
completely stopped. Yeah. Um, it's kind of slowed down for me. I kind of had to give up that life in order to have this one, and I think that um there's definitely a lapse a little bit. But I mean, it was really nice being known, and I just had to let myself know that like this is just a pause. Because I am someone who desires fame and people to see me, not because, oh, I'm famous. I like to explain, like, if you want to be the best in the business, what do you want to be? You want to be a CEO. If you're the best in the acting business, what are you? You're famous because you're so good. You're in big things and people love you. And I want people to like see my art. I want to have a voice. I want to be able to speak my mind. I want to be able to change people's lives. And in order to do so, that's the level I want to get to and I will
Mm.
get to.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had to say I need to pause for now on the validation of this TikTok
Yeah.
because I'm not doing my passion. Like I said, once you do your passion, you know
Mm.
you're doing right. And I kind of had to put it, I have to be like, hey, it's going to be paused for now. I'm going to build a new community of people. So I'm not really focused on that. I'm really just focused on like my health and my life, and
Mm.
I don't seek out outward validation. I think that's what I had to learn at a very young age because I got famous at a very young age on TikTok, and I was seeking validation, and it's a lot when you're so young. I was like 17, hearing everyone's opinions about yourself. But I think I needed to learn that because I think that was kind of like a test run for like when I do have a lot more eyes on me. I had to learn not to take things personally. I had to look not to look at the comments all the times and to love myself and validate myself before others. And I think that's something I had to learn because my entire life I think I was very much, only child, center of attention. I loved entertaining people, so I felt like most of my validation came from others and not myself. So I think
Mm.
stopping on the social media, I finally had to be alone with myself and validate myself. And that's something that I don't regret at all.
You're amazing. I hope you know that. You're like amazing.
Thank you.
My next question is, how have you seen verticals change sort of since you started doing them, and kind of where would you like to see it go? I guess not where do you think, but where would you like to
Yeah.
see it go?
I mean, obviously they got bigger, but I would like to see different I would like to see interracial couples. I would like to see new stories. I would like to see people of all sizes and ages and people being leads and not because I'm a different size, that's what the plot's about. Like it's so weird to me because I'm like, I know these sell, but you could have a wider audience if you just like did something else. You know, why aren't we doing horror films? Like, what I would watch that. If there was a vertical horror film while I brush my teeth, I'd be watching it. I would like to see genres. I would like to see less sexualization of SA and just abuse. The abuse is too much. I choose not to do those ones anymore. I try to stay away. Um, I don't know. I think the stereotypes have to go.
Yeah.
It's like you already have enough. Why aren't we trying to test more? And I know I see a few like trying a little bit, but it's like at the end of the day, they just plop in a CEO. I'm like, that would have been a really cool concept. But then you added a CEO, you know? And for me, playing these roles, I'm like, if I was watching this one and this one I did, these are identical. Like, these are literally these. I have done the same story over and over and over. Give me a new motive other than money or a man. You know? Give me character, you know? Give me a background story that actually makes people want to lean in and watch. And the stereotype, I mean, I'm put in a box. I've never been a lead, not because I'm not talented. It's not that. They have a certain look that they want. And then I've already had a name for myself. I mean, I would love to play a lead for fun, but then at the same time, I think sometimes it's like the only leads that I've been offered have been abusive, BDSM, soft porn. And I will no disrespect to anyone who does that personally. That's a boundary for me, but that's the only ones I've been offered. But that's just not something I'm into or interested in doing, unfortunately. But I think if they just give people a chance, give stories a chance, you're already making millions and paying people how much, you know. I would love to see like something new. Something new.
Well, that's
Like,
why
I
I got
want to, yeah.
excited about
I want to read the script and be like, oh, wait, what? I
yeah.
haven't done that in a long time.
That would be good. Yes. I think
Yes.
that's the test, isn't it? You to get a script, you get excited and you go, this
Yeah, I
feels
get excited. Or like, I actually am like, oh, where's this going?
yeah.
I feel like I can just guess everything at this point because I'm putting the same ones.
Yeah.
I haven't done a school one. Not really vampire. I haven't done those one. Like, I've literally done the same genre of like billionaires. That's the only ones I've done. So I
Yeah,
would
but
like to try something new at
like the
least.
card. It's like you need one of those billionaire
Yeah. Like,
cards, don't
yeah,
you?
the school ones are looking, like, the school ones are fun. I've never, because that would be new for me because I never played as schoolgirl. I was always like I play older. Like, I'm 24. I just turned 24. Most of my characters are supposed to be at least like late 20s, early 30s. So I like to play like a teenager. That'd be
I could
fun.
see you at school. That would be awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so just going, I wanted to ask you then, does anything else in the business kind of interest you? Is it acting? Could you see yourself in the future writing or directing or producing?
I
Directing.
could be an amazing director. But it's only because I learned so much from verticals. I'm really it's the ADHD, right? The ADHD studies patterns. We're so good with patterns, right? So I can see like where the camera needs to be, what blocking I could do, like before anyone else. Like, it is very collaborative. I mean, I'm really good at scripty. You know, I'm really good at remembering where things were and how they were. Like, I will correct. I'll be like, hey, like, this was here, blah, 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 this was. Sometimes I have to be quiet though, because I'm like, we don't have time, and like, meh, you know, like, who cares? But I would really be good at directing because I can see the whole picture, and I can put it in my head so fast. Like, you can give me a scene, and I can direct it, and I think it'd be super fun to direct. But yeah, directing.
Right, this needs to happen. People, we're putting it out there. Kind of directing.
Yeah.
Okay, just final questions because you've been awesome and I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, I'm free.
So I think you inspire a lot of people. So I want to know who inspires you. So kind of who do you look at, particularly with actresses, and you know, who do you love?
That's a good question. I have to say it's not an actress. It's an actor, Jim
Actor's
Carrey.
good. Yeah.
Jim Carrey, because I just love him, first of all. I grew up with him. And if you actually listen to him, we share a lot of the same beliefs. And the way he manifests in spirituality and like how he got into the business doing all that and using that. And I mean, he wrote a check. I don't know if you knew this. When he was living in his car, he wrote a check for like $10 million. And he kept it in his pocket for years. It was like certain. It was so like certain, like 10 million to buy this year, like on this year. And guess what? That was the exact amount he earned from Dumb and Dumber in the exact year he put on his check.
Good story.
I'm gonna do that. Actually, it's like I tell this story to everyone. I'm like, why haven't I done it? I literally I've never used a checkbook.
Tell me you've done
like,
that.
why haven't I? I'm like, mine's right here. No, I don't even have mine. What? That's writing it down. My widget. I'm putting it in the widget. Yeah, I look up to Jim Carrey. It's weird. Yeah, I looked up to a lot of actors growing up
That's
rather
fine.
than
Go for it.
actresses. Like I loved like Tom Hanks growing up. I loved him. But I don't know. This sounds so like this might come out very wrong, but I don't look up to a lot of
Mm.
people, as in like a
Yeah,
certain
no.
into a certain sense, um, because I see myself equal to
You're not
these
putting people
people.
on a pedestal. Yeah,
No,
no,
I
I get that.
don't put people. The only
Mm.
person I put on a pedestal is Billie Eilish. I would literally freak out if I met Billie Eilish. I don't put people on a pedestal, so I don't like the word. I don't like using the word.
No,
I
that
know it
makes
sounds
sense.
so stupid because I don't really look up
Mm.
to them. I'm like, oh, I could take that
That's actually,
and
yeah,
use
you're
that
really right.
myself.
That's a really key point. Probably the words I should have used is who do you look at and go,
Towards. Who do you
yeah,
look
look
towards?
towards. No,
Because I
that
don't look
I love
up.
that you
Yeah.
went into that nuance because that's such a good point. Yeah.
Thank you for understanding. Because sometimes it sounds cocky, like, oh, I don't look up to anyone. But
No, no, no.
genuinely, and at an energetical level, the phrase saying looking
Mm,
up is meaning that you are below. And I don't
mm,
believe that I am below any
mm,
of these people. I believe that they can be teachers and I
mm,
can learn, but they're not above me just because they're the ones who are famous and they're the ones who did this and that and the other. They
mm,
are I can be inspired, but I don't
mm.
like to use the looking up. I say Billie Eilish only because like she's someone I would literally like cry and scream and like if I met.
That's the fangirl moment would happen is with Billie
Yeah,
Eilish.
but that's more like a girl crush. Like that's more
Yeah,
like a girl crush.
yeah.
Um but yeah, no, I don't look up to a lot of people. If I was going to look up to someone, it
Mm,
would probably be philosophers, scientists,
mm,
like
mm,
people I'm like, oh, like you know this, and like you teach me what you know. Like you do
mm,
know more than me on this subject. I'm
mm,
looking up because you're telling me what I
mm.
do not know. I am below you. I do not know as much as quantum physics. Like I read, I think I look up to scientifical spiritual teachers.
That kind of knowledge.
um
Yeah.
yeah, like knowledge. I look up to like knowledgeable people. But
Mm,
when it comes to like acting and like the arts, I don't really look up. If that
okay.
makes sense.
No,
It makes sense.
I actually love that, and I'm going to be really careful not to ask that question again. I actually adore
Oh
your.
no, it's totally
No,
fine.
no,
I'm glad that you understand
fine,
because
because
some
that's
people
I
are
don't
like,
like it when occasionally people put me on a pedestal. It's like, well, I'm
yeah.
not. We're all the same.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds cocky. I'm glad you like understand because it doesn't come from a cocky sense. It actually comes from valuing yourself. And I think,
Mm,
especially as women, if you know me and you know me in the industry, I'm not someone who's not going to speak my mind.
mm,
I actually have to help a lot of people when they don't have the ability to speak their mind, and I'm very much glad to do so. I'm a very nice person, but I have my boundaries, and I'm not afraid to voice it. And
mm.
in the industry, it's well, if the girl speaks up, she's a bitch. If the guy speaks up, pay him more. You know, it's like what? Um, so
Uh,
yeah, I'm very I speak my mind and I say what I yeah, I think learning how to speak your mind and valuing yourself and in tuned in order to value yourself more, you have to be very careful how you think, how you speak. And so like
mm,
things like that, just by starting to say like I look toward already is
mm.
showing an energy of we are the same. So if
Yeah.
I want to be someone, I don't want to look
Mm,
up at you. I want to look toward you because I'm here. So like even tiny little things like that, when you change how you speak and how you think, you'll
mm,
see reality kind of, you know,
mm.
change in
You
front of you.
sound like a big reader or Audible or
Yeah.
something like that. Are there
Yeah, I
any
do.
books that have really you've
Mhm.
gone like that has changed how I thought?
No, I actually just sent my sent this book to my friend who's struggling with some stuff right now. Um, I actually hated reading my entire life. The only thing I read was like a Harry Potter book and da da da. I realized I didn't like reading fiction.
Mm,
When I was like at a really low point, and I think that's when it really happens for most people spiritually. My grandma gave me this book, and I don't know what intrigued me to read it. Because again, girl, I would spark note if I had ChatGPT back then. No reading ever. I would spark note everything I would read. I don't know what got me to read it, and it was called The Four Agreements. I just sent it to my friend. Yes. So
Yeah.
that was the callus. Then I really got into it, and I decided to look up look up a new
Mm.
book. It's actually Joe Dispenza, as well. The Power of Now. So the 4 Agreements kind of got me rolling.
Mm.
The Power of Now, when I say it was like my entire reality had the coding just changed. How like from after that book, like there was before that book and there was after that book. I don't even remember how I used to think before this book. Like genuinely, I thought about the other day. I was like, okay, when I was 19, before I read this, what did I don't think I thought about life at all.
Mm.
I had no concept. I don't know how I thought. I can't remember. I mean, you can see videos of yourself talking, but I mean, I don't remember because that book from there on, I I learned how I learned what was going on for real. And ever since then, I read a book. I read every morning. Right now, I'm reading um, the habit of breaking yourself or not being yourself is right there. I'm like, it's
Mm.
been 2 days. I was busy. So I like books that elevate my mind.
Mm.
I guess I could try fiction now again, but I just never been interested. I'd rather watch a movie because I'm an actress, you know? I'd rather watch a
Mm.
movie. But I think educating yourself every day is very important. No matter what it is, just read something, watch something. I always put on the background because ADHD. I always have something in the background, and I always like put on like Neil deGrasse Tyson or like just like someone just talking about things or actors roundtables. Even that will help. Scientifically proven program your subconscious. So when you're
Mm.
doing things and you're not listening, your subconscious is actually listening, which is crazy. And your subconscious is actually more in control than your consciousness. Um, which is why we don't use most of our brain. So subliminals are very important. So just even having some educated podcast, even Mel, I've been listening to Mel Robbins. Is it Mel Robbins? She's
Mel
amazing.
Robbins.
Just even if you put it in the background, you don't even have to try to pay attention. You'll notice
Mm.
that sometimes without even trying to pay attention, you'll start to pay attention because you need to hear that. So
Yes.
subconsciously, I think that's if you want to start somewhere, just put
Mm.
something in the background. Something in the background.
I always think that there's certain books or messages or learnings or point
Oh
of view,
yeah.
whatever it is, that I've heard before, but it's not gone in because I wasn't ready to hear it.
Oh, no, 100%.
And then you have
That's
that
with
moment,
everything.
I'm ready for this now. I can take it in and act on it. And then, yeah, it goes in.
That's literally how life works
Mm.
because say for a breakup, all your friends are telling you or you tell someone you shouldn't be with them. It does not matter the logic.
Mm.
Until it is time and you are ready to learn that that
Mm.
person's not worth your time,
Yeah.
will you leave?
Hmm.
And same thing, you'll continuously get into patterns where if you hadn't learned the lesson the first time, it's going to come back. You were
Hmm.
with this really bad narcissistic person, da da da. Okay, you finally ended it. But did you change the habits within yourself that reflected and drew in that person? No? Okay, another narcissist, another bad person, another toxic. The universe will keep giving you problems until
Hmm.
you learn the lesson you need to from it. And until
Yeah.
you stop that cycle and learn, actually absorb 100%, it will no longer show up in your reality. You have to learn. And I love the saying the whole like if you want to be patient, if you want patience, does the universe or God give you patience or does he give you a situation where you can learn to be patient? Does he
Yeah.
give you the traffic so you can
Hmm.
learn to be patient? If you want
Mm.
to be courageous, does the universe or God give you courage? Or does he give you a situation in which you can be courageous? See, that's what we have to understand about life.
Hmm.
And that gives me goosebumps. I have goosebumps. I get goosebumps. That's one of my nervous. Do you have that? One of my nervous system issues. I've actually on the doctor for it. It's the ADHD. Is I get goosebumps all the time. If anything, like a little emotional, like
Yeah, you've
a
given me
song,
goosebumps
I get
because
goosebumps all
that's
the
my
time.
life. That's the story of my life. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I have the head injury that I had
Oh, what
because I
happened?
wasn't listen. Oh, I I needed to leave the job that I was in. I knew I'd needed to leave it for quite a few
Mm,
years, and it got worse and worse. But basically, the universe. I mean, it was my manager caused the accident, but I had 3 stoner boxes full on my head. But that was also
mm,
the universe of like, could we please?
physical.
Could we please
Wait, because I
change?
could go into this. Because listen, the physical is the last step that the universe will do.
Yeah.
So say the universe is trying to get you to slow down, and you don't listen. You
Mhm.
get your tire goes flat,
Mm.
or they're trying to slow you down because you're working too much. You have a headache. You have this. If you're not listening to that, the only other option the universe can give you is physical. That's why you get sick.
Yeah.
That's why I broke my foot.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I have broken so many bones. It's insane. Like, the universe is always telling me to slow down, right? So that is also something that can happen. Physical things to your body, even like energetically where they are. Um,
Yeah.
it's like if you don't listen, what do you expect? Like that's what
Yeah.
happens.
And it's like
That's
simultaneously the
crazy.
worst thing that happened in my life, but also the best thing that happened in my life
Yeah,
because it
I
changed
actually
me
talked
now.
about this in
Yeah.
the other interview I did.
Yeah.
Um, the whole concept of the yin and yang, right? Duality.
Yeah.
Um, how do you know if you're happy if you were never sad kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? And I think everything has an equal and opposite reaction. And this is what I like to tell people.
Mm.
I want you to write down 5 of the best things that's ever happened to you in your entire life. All right. And then for each one, I want you to write down a terrible thing that happened to you that if it did not happen, you wouldn't have gotten that amazing thing.
Mhm.
And having this understanding completely changed my life because I am a person now. It takes 30 days to create a habit neurologically. Your
Mm.
neuroreceptors are going to be in a pattern. That's why depression is
Mhm.
addictive. I can go into that forever. It takes 30 days to create a habit, a thought pattern. Your thoughts change your mind. It's not easy. And it took a long time to get here. But no matter what situation I'm in, no matter how bad it is, I always have this overwhelming, whatever feeling of like excitement or very much I have a knowingness. I like to call it a knowingness that there's something amazing coming from this. The
Mm.
worse it is, the better it will get. So like a really bad heartbreak, that's why a lot of people you'll notice after a heartbreak,
Mm.
amazing things happen after. Even if
Mm.
it's a few months or a year after. So many things will happen that are so amazing that you're like, as much as I would want to get back with this person, imagine if I stayed with them, I wouldn't have this friend, I wouldn't have this job, I wouldn't have had this promotion. I like no matter how upset I can be about something, I know that it's going to bring good because there cannot be any other option.
Mm.
It's literally impossible. There is no I'm sad forever. It's a roller coaster. And so being at peace, which is kind of like Buddha, if you study
Mm.
Buddhism, it's not about being happy. It's about being at peace within any emotion you're in. When you're sad, you're at peace. When you're happy, you're at peace. You need to be peaceful within the emotions. Because if you're searching for happiness, you are going to be disappointed for the rest of your life. Because that's just
I'm
impossible.
like, damn, I wish I got there at 24. It's taken to me another 20 years plus to kind of get where you are.
Yeah. Well,
You were,
we have more now to
yeah.
here with social media. I mean, that's like
Mm.
spreading the word. But yeah, I've always been a very fast elevating person, which is
Yeah.
why I think people who like me kind of like throughout high school and stuff and college, like, and even up until like few years, like kind of ran through friends.
Mm.
Relationships don't last long is because when you're in a relationship or friendship with someone, the only way it can really stay is if either there's a mutual understanding in a friendship, but not a relationship.
Mm.
If someone is elevating higher at a higher speed, it's not going to work. If you
Mm.
have to be elevating together, and I think that I elevate past people a
Mm.
lot. And there's been people who've elevated past me and I wasn't aware of it until now, you know?
Mm.
But I tend to be a person who's constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly evolving. And a lot of people don't have that. And that's the ADHD. That's the ADHD in us
Yeah.
that helps us to do that is we
Mm.
constantly seek knowledge. ADHD people even though we know the randomest, like, I studied this for a little bit. I know that the ant has actually, I learned this the other day. I don't know why. Ants have from the biggest brain compared to like brain and body size. Like their
That's
brain is
cool.
bigger than
Yes.
them, you know? Like I know that. Why? I don't know. Because I was interested. So that's like our superpower for sure. But I think that educating, there's a reason why books are expensive. There's a reason why education is expensive, because knowledge is the key to life. The more you know, the more you can create. That's why infants and children, you don't see them doing a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like even in middle school, you're not, doing all these things or making a bunch of money or like, no, because you don't have the knowledge of what the world is like at all. You don't know. And that's what the schooling system in America doesn't want you to know. They don't teach you how to do your taxes. They don't teach you what it's like to get a mortgage. They don't want to teach you things that will actually help you create a great life for themselves. What they want to teach you is how to sit still, take a pill if you're neurodivergent. So you sit for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. What is that? That's a worker. They teach you how to be a worker. They don't teach you things to actually elevate your life. They don't teach you about money. They don't teach you about mental health. They do that for a reason. Which is why I was like, I would never homeschool my kids when I was a kid. But I was like, now? I don't know, man. I didn't learn all right? I didn't know anything. Like everything I knew then, I have not used. Everything I have outside of school taught myself and in college decided to learn, that's what elevated my life and made me a smart, intellectual person, which most people don't assume I'm intellectual, which is so funny to me. When people meet me, like I think that's the number one biggest misconception about me is that people don't know how actually intellectual I truly am. Because I'm not, I mean, what am I going to start talking like quantum mechanics to everyone that I, speak? So that's kind of like my favorite, like hidden talent, like I would say, is that I'm a very, very, very intellectual person beyond what most people believe.
That. I feel I'm going to ruin the intellectual moment now, but I did want to ask this,
No.
which is just to finish off, favorite Disney villains.
Oh my God. Wait,
Disney
that's a
has
good
done a lot of
one. Wait, that's
iconic
a good
villains.
one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Favorite villain. Well, the Tangled girl. The Tangled girl, what is her name?
What, Mother Gothel?
Yeah, she's really cool. I like her songs and stuff. She's like a really fun. I feel like she's like more like me, like, oh. Um, I would probably
It
say
used to get in my
her.
head because my girls were kind of probably about like 3 and 5 when that came out. So I used to want to sing Mother Knows Best. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't
I
go to
love
a
the
great
Mother.
place, but it's a good song and you should
Yeah,
know best at
I
this then.
like Ursula. Ursula's
Oh,
cool.
Ursula, yeah.
Ursula's really cool. Yeah, no, I think I would say them. I was like, my favorite Disney princess is Mulan.
Yes,
It's
thank
literally
you.
the only princess that doesn't need a man, and that's so like me.
Eric slows her down.
Oh, come on.
Mm.
But yeah, I would say Ursula's really cool, and then I've actually never been asked that, which is crazy. Because I was gonna say Maleficent, but then I'm like, not really, because I don't really. I'm like, I like the Maleficent movie, but she's not evil
Mm.
in that technically. But that's why I liked her. I like Maleficent, like the
Yeah.
movie with Angelina Jolie. Love that movie.
And just say you were absolutely phenomenal. And like, I
Thank
feel really
you.
privileged that I've just got to spend an hour of your life
Me
with you. Just thank
too.
you, thank you, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
I think we'll just have to circle back because I just think massive things will be happening. And I can't wait to come
Yes,
6
I
months,
would
a
love
year,
to.
be like off here and just see what you're doing next.
Of course. Of course. I would love to talk again. I'm so glad we were we were able to make this happen. We both, if for people watching, back and forth for like a few months. We were trying so hard.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for making the time today to fit into my schedule and your schedule. And we will be talking again.